wakey, handoff snakey. What a beautiful morning in the Twin Cities and beyond.
Although, don't forget, Chris, somewhere in the world, lightning is currently striking.
That is true. You're right.
Right, Sauce?
Yes,
so
sir.
It's not nice there.
No, but
Right,
it will
Sauce?
be. We just call that liquid sunshine.
Liquid sunshine, okay.
Sun is setting on the prairie.
It's actually rising on the prairie, Don.
Burning like a lantern.
Get your life together, Don.
It's about to set fire.
I'd like to tell you guys about some news stuff because that's what I do. I'm a news reporter. My top story of the day is Paul Martin and the Shine a Light Foundation kicked butt last night, and everybody who came out, we raised a lot of money to help kids, specifically with music therapy programs. Well done, Paul. You don't have to do stuff like that, you know? And you do, and I appreciate it.
He's a nice guy.
Good dude, man.
Yeah, he's A+.
Yeah.
I went to college with him. We took sign language together.
I remember.
I
He's
bring
taller
it up
than you.
every time I see him.
Yeah. He's a tough guy. Good dude, though. Let's do some news.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by the St. Paul Saints.
You got that right, Zacco. The St. Paul Saints lost 8-4 to Louisville, but they're trying again tonight. Down at CHS Field, Louis Varland on the mound against Louisville tonight in St. Paul. Great night for baseball.
Saw the clip yesterday. It looked like, didn't Wallner jack a home run yesterday? Was that yesterday's game? Matt Wallner?
Yeah,
with the
both
Saints?
Kiersey and Wallner both homered yesterday.
There we go.
There you go. But it was not enough.
Wallner was struggling with the Twins, so you send him down to the Saints, let him jack a bunch of home runs, get his swing back. Why not?
Why not, man? Japan Airlines is reporting the cancellation of a flight from Dallas to Tokyo last week after its pilot reportedly got drunk and became disruptive.
What's the story, though? What's the problem?
After the April 23rd flight was canceled, the airline placed the 157 passengers on other flights. The 49-year-old pilot's name hasn't been released. He reportedly drank with fellow crew members at a restaurant, then at the hotel bar, and then in his room. He became so loud and disruptive, hotel staff had to call police at 2 a.m. The airline canceled the flight as a precautionary measure, realizing he probably wouldn't sober up enough in time.
This is unbelievable irony, but eventually they put him on a flight. He sat front row, got upgraded to first class, and then he just openly wept about all the decisions he had made the previous 72 hours.
Hey, that happens.
He kept saying, "You're flying along, you're flying along."
He kept asking for, what are some of his buddies' names? Branch?
Who knows?
Spurge.
That guy had to get back to Tokyo because he had a big boy meeting Monday morning, and he missed his flight.
That's right.
That he was supposed to fly.
Yeah. Spurge and Galouche stayed with him.
Yeah.
Everybody else went home.
Yeah.
The Loon. Terry Exotic.
Terry
And
Exotic.
Deshaun all went home.
Deshaun?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for them.
A Brooklyn man is pleading guilty to selling body parts of exotic animals to an undercover officer.
Who?
And Galileo's middle finger.
Yep.
Why?
The district attorney's office says an investigation found 26-year-old Usher Weiss.
Yeah.
Met with the undercover cop.
Usher is kind of a cool name.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
And not a bad job for a kid. The officer gave Weiss $900 in exchange for a mounted cougar head.
Ooh.
The DA says Weiss met the same undercover officer about a month later looking to sell a mounted cheetah head. Weiss pleaded guilty on Thursday to violating environmental conservation laws. It was fined $5,000. Sauce, you probably know, guy. Where could I get a cheetah head?
Man.
Could you get him one by 9 o'clock?
Right.
No.
I mean, you can't walk into a zoo and walk out with a cheetah's head.
No, I don't know where you would get that. From a poaching website?
Poor Chester.
Oh, yeah, one of those classic poaching websites where you just say, give me a mounted cougar head, and then they just send you Jennifer Coolidge.
I'm sure there's a website where you could find that.
Hang on, let's see here.
The dark web?
What did you call it? A poaching
website.
Let's see. Poaching website. Where do I buy mounted cheetah heads? All right, now I'm on a database.
You're definitely on a list now. Yeah.
Yeah, you 100%. Or whoever is logged in there is.
What does it say that the Google thought the first thing when I said poaching website, where do I buy a mounted cheetah head? It sent me to Etsy and cheetah taxidermy.
Huh.
Whoa. Etsy's running that?
This
Wow.
is lifelike. I could buy $4,300 for a faux taxidermy African lion head.
I only want one, not faux.
Brilliant.
For $20, I could buy a raccoon wearing a raccoon hat.
That sounds like something.
with a broken bottle. This is kind of awesome. Chris would want this.
I need to see it. Where's
Come
this
look at this picture.
Okay.
He's got a piece of chicken, a broken bottle, and a raccoon hat. He's looking to fight. $20. Look at this.
Oh,
Chris is buying that, right?
Yeah. Hawk, you should buy that.
He's ready to rumble.
Yeah, you should
$20. You can look at this guy. He's ready to
badass.
Yeah, you should buy that.
You know,
he's eating chicken. He's got a broken bottle. And that's just next level that he's wearing a raccoon hat on the top of his head.
Raccoon and made a hat out of that raccoon.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Maybe that was one of his rivals.
Because he was trying to steal his women.
Yeah, man. Maybe he stole that guy's woman.
Yeah. What happens if you steal somebody's woman?
And he's not eating, a dead chicken. He's got an actual chicken wing, which means he's at a sports bar. This raccoon went to a sports bar. Man,
send me that link. I need to buy that.
It's $20. It's 20% off right now. Normally it's $25.
In the main studio, right by Barrero's Candles.
Oh, he'd love it.
And the artist signed it.
Oh,
buy
look at
that. Buy it, Hogs.
Doyle Brunson is the artist.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What did he sign?
Language.
Oh.
So I'm gonna just raccoon.
Wait a minute. According to the artist, his name is Ricky, and his first words were, "I'll cut you." Man, the internet is fascinating.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
All I wanted to do was find out where I could get cheetah taxidermy, and now I found an 11 by 14 canvas print of a raccoon willing to fight.
I'm gonna tell you right now. This is my favorite artist of all time. He gets it. A raccoon with raccoon hat, broken bottle, and chicken leg. His name is Ricky. Cute, but a little stabby.
Yeah, you've been called that.
Have I?
According to the seller, this is a great gift for raccoon lovers. And this is fun decor for any room in your office or home.
Boy, this guy does a lot of work with raccoons.
The artist's name is Travis Chapman.
Yeah.
Okay. Free advertising for Travis. Shout out to your... Yeah, there's another one of a raccoon riding an alligator holding a chainsaw.
And again, he's still got his raccoon hat on.
He does have a raccoon hat on. You're going to buy this guy's entire collection. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
I like this artist.
You got to put it up all over this place.
There's another one with the raccoon not wearing the raccoon hat, riding a motorcycle with a sidecar, and there's an alligator sitting in the sidecar.
That I'm definitely buying.
These are all $20.
Yeah, I'm buying that one for sure.
This is next level. I guess this is technically the news.
There's so much raccoon art. I had no idea.
So I guess if you're keeping track at home, we did not get to the bottom of the poaching website and where we could buy mounted cougars or cheetahs.
Yeah.
But we did find raccoon art.
Okay, keep going because there's a painting of a woman standing behind a Sasquatch who's laying very sexily while he's petting a raccoon. There's so much raccoon art.
I have not from Travis still?
I don't know if it's him or not. Looks like maybe a less quality artist than
What
Travis
if Travis becomes the new Banksy?
Then we got to get in early.
Yeah, you got to get in
but
early.
I don't want a print. I want an original then.
You can't afford that.
I don't want $20 for a print.
You can't afford that. There's a raccoon as a samurai.
And can I get this before Mother's Day? Angie would want this.
Yeah.
I wonder how many rooms in the home I could put this up in without pissing her off.
Is it Father's Day that Angie always forgets, or is it your anniversary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Man, I'm sorry. I've derailed for the rest of the show.
How much of it are you buying?
I've got 3 of them in my cart right now. I wonder why I'm poor.
All right, should we come back and talk to Alan Horton? We got a huge game tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, you did. We talked about cheetah taxidermy.
Right. Okay, you're right.
And the Japanese airline guy. All right, Marnie Gellner should be here in a second, which will be good timing because she's all over the Timberwolves. She covered them all year. Basically covered that team her entire life, and finally they're good.
Like a blanket.
Alan Horton will be on the call tomorrow. It's at 6 o'clock start. We'll talk to Alan about Game 1, Nuggets and Wolves after this on The Fan.
Weeds, just a bunch of hicks out in the sticks. Farm kids and hay seeds. Spending all day with Lake Gonza.
Fan.
I know we got to talk basketball, and I'm looking forward to it. This guy's my favorite artist of all time. I'm
so
going to
good.
buy something.
Yeah, we just found a rabbit hole of genius.
This guy has to be so high. I don't know. I got to reach out to him to find out if he's just nuts. But these paintings from what's the guy's name again?
Travis Chapman.
Travis Chapman on Etsy. There's some of. I mean, I don't even know how you come up with these ideas.
For $960, you can get an original of Carl from Up about to do a key bump of cocaine off of a plate that has a picture of his wife Ellie. He's going to do cocaine, and then
he's too sad.
why not? For almost $1,000. Anyway, the dude's got some crazy cool paintings, but he's definitely high 24 hours a day. It's the beauty of Etsy. You can find anything.
This is the best. Yeah.
All right.
You guys talk basketball. I'm going to buy us some paintings, okay?
Let's do Fan 5 because it's time, Sauce. Round 1 in the rear view mirror.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip. Presented by All Around Property Preservation.
Thank you, All Around.
All right, thanks, All Around. Alan Horton is the play-by-play radio voice, the audio voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hi, Alan.
Hello.
What's
How are you?
happening?
Doing fantastic. We are super jacked. Obviously, round 1 went the perfect way, right? 4 rip. The Suns looked old. The Suns are freaking out because what are they going to do with those 3 for the next handful of years? But who cares? That's the past. Now we have the champs tomorrow, 6 o'clock, game 1. I think everybody's healthy for both teams outside of maybe Chris Finch.
Yes. Chris Finch is, I think, the only major injury that the Wolves or the Nuggets have to worry about. So, no, it's a rematch of last year. It's I think it's shaping up to be an incredible series. I think the Wolves are at a different point now than they were last year. They're a better basketball team. They're healthier than last year. Remember, Naz Reid and James McDaniels didn't even play in the series last year. That's 2 of your top 7 players. They also lost Kyle Anderson for a game in that series. And then I think the other factor is that not only are the Wolves at a different place, I think Anthony Edwards is at a different place. The way he played in that Phoenix series, I think this guy just continues to rise to the biggest stages, and now this is the biggest stage he's been on, and I think he's up for the challenge. He hit so many big shots and played such a major role against Phoenix. I think he's going to do the same thing against Denver. And while it's tough to slow down Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, it's going to be tough for Denver to slow down Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. I just think this is a great matchup on a lot of different levels.
Alan, the other thing is, before the Phoenix series, everybody was saying this is the worst matchup possible. It's weird that we are more confident playing the champs than we were playing the Phoenix Suns. Can you explain why?
Yeah, it is very strange, right? They're the defending champs. You should be more scared of them. But I think there is a familiarity with the Nuggets. This tomorrow night will be the 14th meeting in the last 16 months. That's a lot of games when you include regular season and postseason. They've matched up. They always match up with them 4 times a year, so you're seeing them the max number of times. And the more you see something, the more you get a familiarity with it. It doesn't translate always to being better against them, but I think the Wolves have gained a confidence where, okay, they know Jokic is a handful, they know Murray are a handful, and it's like when Golden State in the league faced Steph Curry, for the first time, and Klay Thompson, when those guys were at their peak. But over the years, you become more familiar with it, and you're like, okay, we get it, we know what Curry does now. You start to slowly get better against it. And I feel like the Wolves have done that against the Nuggets. The Phoenix Suns was this rare outlier during the regular season. Where they went 3-0 against the Wolves. It's only one of 2 teams that the Wolves didn't beat all season. And not only did they beat the Wolves, they manhandled the Wolves. They dominated those 3 games, which I think really led me to believe, even after watching practice for a week, that was still in the back of my mind that this team was so dominant against the Wolves. But it truly showed that the regular season doesn't hold a lot of weight going to the postseason. You can turn things around like the Wolves did.
Alan, you've seen, I assume, every game of Anthony Edwards' career. What changed in round 1, though? Because it seems like his status in NBA circles has risen to the point where people are saying, is this, the next face of the NBA? We've talked about how multiple panel broadcast teams have had to bite their tongue because they've wanted to compare him to Michael Jordan, but just can't do it because they're nervous about getting ripped. But that's how dominant he was against Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, that's how much he has looked like a young Michael Jordan. I think he's patterned his game after being the next Michael Jordan, the next Kobe Bryant. I mean, he's got that desire. And so, the national fans are now seeing what we've seen for the better part of, the last 2 years is a young guy who has got everything. He can be dominant on the floor. He is charismatic and so much personality off the floor. And now he's getting on TNT. He's getting on ESPN, and he's just rising to the occasion. It's just it's been incredible to see for the guy who's only 22 years old, only his fourth year in the league, and with his rise, the team has come along with him. It hasn't just been him playing well; it's his team getting to the postseason for the third straight time, finally breaking through and getting to the second round, which is what he's talked about being important for him the whole time. Is I haven't proved a thing. My team hasn't gone anywhere. We haven't gotten out of the first round. Now they've gotten there. And I think they're not done yet. They didn't, there wasn't champagne in the locker room in Phoenix. There wasn't spraying of soda or water. I mean, they celebrated like they deserved to win that series, which they did. I thought they had the real proper approach. Even though it's the first time the franchise has gone out of the first round in 20 years, they gave it the proper celebration because they know they're not done, and they've got this motivation where I think deep down too, they probably knew this matchup was coming with the Nuggets. If the Wolves wanted to get to where they wanted to go, they're going to have to go through Denver. And now you're here, and now everybody's healthy, and you've got this incredible opportunity.
Alan, what's your excitement level to add Jim Pete to your broadcast?
It's something we've done over the last couple of years when there's been TNT exclusivity during the regular season that the guys on Bally's cannot any local team. They can't broadcast with them. So sometimes Jim will join me. It only happens maybe once a year, once every couple of years. But we signed him to a rest of the postseason contract. So we locked him up. When you have a free agent game analyst that's out there like that, you gotta get better. I've been watching what Tim Conley's been doing. You gotta make the right moves. And so we went out there, and I think we made the right move, and he's going to join me for the rest of the postseason. It's going to be fun.
Would you rather have Jim Peterson or Marnie Gellner?
No, that's an impossible question, Corey. Marnie's the best. Jim's the best.
Is Marnie really the best?
Can we go 3-man booth? Why not a 3-man booth then?
Marnie, he sounds like he wants you to join tomorrow.
Yeah, is it really a 3-man booth, Alan, or is it a 2-man and a woman?
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, I guess a 3-person booth. Sorry, 3-person booth. It's going to be a little tight up in the second deck on a cement bench for 3 hours. It'll be a little crowded up there, but I think we can pull it off.
Yeah, you can move down, no problem.
So Marnie and Alan, we were talking about this an hour or two ago. Like when Phoenix beat the Wolves 3 times by double digits in the regular season, we all thought, look, game 1, it's home, it's at Target Center. You gotta just find a way to win game 1 to shut everybody up. I don't think you have to win game 1 against the Denver Nuggets, but we were saying an hour or two ago, can you imagine how quickly the narrative changes if you can find a way to steal game 1?
Yeah. It's a daunting task trying to think of how you're going to beat the Denver Nuggets, who have been so good for so many years, really since that play-in game, since that game 82 back in the 17-18 season, which the Wolves won in overtime, and kind of kicked in the whole play-in era. That's kind of a part of the reason why the whole play-in tournament came about, is because the Wolves and Nuggets played that game 82 for the right to go to the postseason. Nuggets lost it, but every year since, they've gone to the postseason, and they've gone on to the Western Conference Finals twice. They've been to the NBA Finals once and won it. So it's a daunting task trying to think of how you're going to beat this team 4 times in 7 games. And the best way to probably go about doing it is steal that first game, or at least you have to find a way to win one of these first 2 games, because then the task just becomes, then you got to win 4 out of 5 if you don't win the first 2. I think there's a high level of urgency heading into these 2 games. It's which also adds to sort of the excitement of the game, I think.
All right.
And listen, we just got a new special guest that just walked in the studio as well. And I don't know if you're going to have Jonathan put on his headphones over there. So we got to talk a little basketball with him, because I know he played basketball in high school.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then he went to Louisville to to go to college for a while. And there's a few basketball fans in Louisville, as somebody's been to Louisville quite a few times. Jonathan Grenard, welcome to the Power Trip Morning Show.
Hi, Jonathan.
Welcome to Minnesota. So glad to have you. We're on the phone right now with Alan Horton, the voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Marnie Gellner to your left right there also works for the T-Wolves on television as well.
Twin Cities legend.
I'm going to guess you're a giant basketball fan. Am I right about that?
I'm a solid basketball fan. I'm not going to say I'm the biggest, but I know what I'm talking about a little bit.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're maybe now that you're here, maybe you brought some luck to the Timberwolves and they can get it done for us this year?
Hey, Ant's a Georgia guy. I'm from Georgia, so I think we might have a little bit of connection on there. But he's doing amazing, so I can't complain.
Love it. We're going to get to know Jonathan a lot better throughout the show. But as always, Alan, thank you for your time. We appreciate it very much. And we hope that it goes just as perfectly here in the second round as it did in the first round.
Yeah, let's go, man. Good luck tomorrow, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, appreciate you guys. And, pregame gets underway at 5:30, and the tip is set for just after 6, so it should be fun.
All right.
Bye,
Awesome.
Alan.
Bye, Alan. Have fun.
Thanks, dude.
We
That's
got so lucky with
Alan
the
Horton.
the timing of tomorrow's game. That works out perfectly.
6 o'clock
I
start
know.
tomorrow, Mar. It's pretty good, right?
Central Time.
Central
Yes.
Time.
Yeah.
Early
Incredible.
one.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. Marnie Gellner, Jonathan Grenard, Marnie Gellner.
Marty, how you
Nice to
doing?
meet you.
Likewise.
Marnie's the real deal. Jonathan, first of all, welcome to Minnesota.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting up with the Power Trip Morning Show. Thanks for agreeing to this nonsense.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
No, this is good. This is amazing. I'm already up early with the baby anyway, so I'm definitely
my.
up. Yeah.
First kid?
Yeah, first one.
How
First
old are we
one.
talking?
She's 7 months. She
Oh,
just
that's
turned 7
fast.
months. So yeah, so I mean, she's in that phase now where she's starting to recognize who I am a little bit. She just doesn't solely rely on mama anymore.
Yeah.
I'm kind of part of the equation now. So she still doesn't like my kisses, so we're still working on that one. So, until I get to that phase, I'm still under mama.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
Let me
Good
tell
for
you.
you.
Yeah, your life changed completely. That little
man.
girl owns you now for the rest of your life. You know that, right?
Listen, I thought it was going to be the other way around, but no, it's definitely her 10 toes. She's giving me a run for my money, but I love every second of it. So it's pretty cool.
You just got married too, right?
I did.
Was it like 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, literally.
man.
Yeah, I mean,
What a big year for you.
It's literally. I feel like I
What
went
a
through
life change.
I went through free agency with my wife, so it's like,
Yeah. And now you get to play the initials game. I mean, it just keeps getting better for you.
Yes, what a dream for you.
The initials game didn't work in my favor. It definitely worked in hers. So changed her last name, so we're good to go now.
That's fantastic. All right, so you sign a giant free agent contract. You
Yeah.
move to Minnesota.
Yep.
Baby.
Yep.
Marriage.
Yes.
This is going to be the craziest year of your life,
Listen,
probably.
I finally can now focus on ball. I mean, the wedding, you
Yeah.
know, as much as it was an amazing thing, beautiful thing, seeing my family, obviously married the woman of my dreams. So, but now obviously once that kind of dies, now you're kind of just ready to look forward to the next thing. And kind of that's what I was doing the whole time. Even as soon as I signed, I was like, okay, well, I signed, I know I have to get married in about a month and a half. So I'm kind of like weaving through there, just trying to get to the wedding and also still trying to see ball at the same time. But the wedding really sat me down and was just like, be in the moment. I could bask in the moment. And now I can finally focus on ball. So still going 100 miles an hour, but I definitely like 100 miles an hour when I'm playing football. So I'm good.
What percentage of the wedding planning was your wife? What percentage of the wedding planning was you?
I love this. Probably, okay, I would say this. She did about 85 to 90 to 95 to 100% of everything. So,
Right answer. Yeah.
correct answer. Between her and the wedding planner, I was just the person, oh, okay, that looks good. All right, cool. And that was my job was done. But when it came for the food tasting, that's where I stepped up big time. So everybody gave me a pat on the back for the food at the wedding. So I'll take my little victory in that
What did you
aspect.
serve?
So we had chicken. We had I think it was a mahi. It was like a breaded crusted type mahi. Some butternut squash. I can't remember the greens as much. I eat them a little bit, but I only eat them because I'm supposed to. But the salad was pretty good. I mean, everything from top to bottom. I mean, it just was a full course. So everybody just they were excited to dance, but a lot of people were full getting up, and I like to eat, so I ended up doing that. And then even to top it off at the wedding, we had a Waffle House bus. I'm from Atlanta, so Waffle House is pretty huge down there, and that's pretty much on one in every corner. So I had a Waffle House bus come out and give us waffles and hash browns and sausages literally at 11 o'clock at night.
Perfect.
So everybody was they ate good, to say the least, for
Man,
sure.
now I want waffles.
I see why you got a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Well done.
Oh yeah,
Where
definitely.
was your wedding near Atlanta?
Yes, it was about 25 minutes outside of Atlanta in Douglasville, which is about a county west in Douglas County. So really, really beautiful setup at Foxhall Resort. Had a lot of my family. Everybody's pretty much, I'm from Georgia, so everybody was already there. Her family, my wife's family now, I was about to say fiance. My wife's family now is, they're all from Miami, so they all drove up. And we met at the University of Florida, so most of her friends were still kind of in that area a little bit, in that Orlando area, kind of right up under Gainesville, and they kind of came up. So it was fun, man. I was super excited to see everybody, see my family, everybody be in that element and celebrating us. But fun times.
How's the guest list work for a professional athlete? Because
that's tough. That is a good
teammates,
question.
coaches, college teammates, coaches. You got to probably cut a lot of relatively close friends.
Yeah, we did. It was. I maybe had to make two tough decisions, but everyone else kind of like made the decision for me. I kind of already had them, on the list to start with, whether they had a +1 or just was them based off of people I knew in past avenues of life. But for the most part, I pretty much had everyone that was like, whether it was my second year in the league, pretty much that whole D-line, a couple of the linebackers as well that I was with in Houston as well. And a lot of people, their wives was really good friends with my wife now. So it was kind of like we merged those people and kind of gave us extra room to add other people. But it was good. I mean, I was actually happy with how it turned out, the seating chart and everything as well. So everything turned out really, really good. I actually was nervous about that. I made the seating chart, so that's another part I can knock on for. And my wife definitely doubted me when we were trying to get that done, but. Once I sat down and seen who would mesh well with other people, it was really easy.
Jonathan Grenard is our guest, Minnesota Viking, new Minnesota Viking. You turned 27 in 22 days or something like that. Yep. Are you ever going to take a deep breath and relax for a minute?
I don't know if it allows me to. I just really don't think so. I mean, the type of person I am, I literally am looking forward to the next thing all the time, which is a good and a bad thing. Sure. But for the most part, I just love to just be in the moment. I mean, when you say 27, it's crazy to think about, because I was just telling my wife that. I was like, she always jokes because she's like not even a full year younger than me. So we're both 26 right now, and I always give her hell for it. But now being 27, it's just like, wow, to even say it, to even think that I'm 27. I still feel young. I still feel like I got a lot of ball left in me. As we know, football, as you get closer up in that time, they like to knock you off a little bit. But I still like to think I'm still keeping up with the young bucks for sure.
Well, since all of us here are slightly older than 27.
Just slightly.
Jonathan, we can promise you this. You cannot believe how fast 27 to 40 goes.
Yeah.
Right? Kids will hit the fast forward button on your life.
Yeah.
Career, obviously, now that
100%.
you're well into your career, that's going to hit the fast forward button on your life. It's just crazy how fast it goes. So you're going to be 45 before you know it. So enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's pretty much what everybody, the advice I get from everyone is like, look, enjoy your 20s. Like, I mean, it's going to go super, super fast. And everybody likes to think 30 is old. I mean, I don't think it's old, but at the same time, we know how it is around in this world. But hell, even 40 is not even. I mean, if you look at people nowadays, 40 doesn't even look like the old 40 anymore.
What about 53, John?
50s. Listen, I was making my way up there. Before y'all got to me, I was making my way up to the 50s. I mean, my mom, she's in her 50s. She's 56. So when I tell you, she literally is like, I'm still young. I'm doing this and that. Look, yes, you are. You're still able to walk. You look good. You're still moving around. Like I say,
Chris,
you're good. Y'all look good. It's not like you're turning left and falling over, so you're good.
Thank you.
You're good.
Not yet.
We're so glad to have you here, man. I can tell we're already going to be good friends, man. This is going to be great, and we're not only in the studio but on the Vikings as well. So just getting started, going to play the initials a little bit. Jonathan Grenard is our guest in studio.
And the pressure's on. Again, we'll explain the game more to you, Jonathan, if somebody from the Vikings hasn't already. But in the last 6 months? Well, 2 weeks ago, Brian O'Neill played, got shut out. Metellus played in what? February or January? I forget
February.
when.
I was going to say February.
Metellus played a couple months ago. He got shut out. It's a hard game.
Get one.
You only got to get one.
I can get one. Okay, I got to get one.
Then you can have bragging rights over a couple of your
that's all
teammates.
I need. That is all I need. I only need one.
Vikings news when we come back. We'll get to know the biggest free agent signing of the offseason for the Minnesota Vikings. Jonathan Grenard. We'll get to know him and ask why he picked Minnesota, how he's going to fit in on this Brian Flores defense, and much, much more. More with Jonathan Grenard after this on The Fan.
The Fan.
Power Trip Morning Show 746 on a Friday. Lovely Friday morning. Marnie Geldner's here.
It's not raining.
It's a beautiful morning.
It is.
It is just perfect. And that is the voice of one of the newest Vikings. Jonathan Grenard is our guest in studio.
Yo.
Again, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir.
You prefer Jonathan or John or either?
I always tell people whatever's on your heart, just don't butcher the last name. That's all I care about.
Right. Am I doing it right?
Yeah,
you
you're
get
good.
Greenard a lot?
I get Greenard. I mean, literally from Little League ball. I mean, Greenard on the run, Greenard on the tackle, Greenard on this. And it's like, listen, it's Grenard.
Grenard.
It's definitely, I can understand why the mispronunciation, but.
So you kind of say it with only one E.
That's what I say.
Right. So
I
if you
literally
just
tell
skip
people,
the second E, you're probably.
I say take the first or the second E out, whatever you want to take the first or the second one out. It's Grenard.
Does anyone call you Nard Dog?
I had the nickname of Nard. One of my best friends, he was in my wedding, Gigi. He calls me Nardy. I mean, everybody calls me Nard or Nardy. It's one of those funny ones. That one came in later on about. But yeah, as you say that, people are starting to kind of slowly transition to the Nard part.
Jonathan, I'm 5'6". I'm gonna call you Jonathan. That's what I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna ask you the easy question because these guys are better at sports stuff than I am. So I'm gonna ask the easy one and get it out of the way.
Gotcha.
Last year in Houston, you guys drafted a young quarterback, and he was pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
This year, you're on the Vikings. We drafted a young quarterback.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts so far on J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah, man. I watched him in the college playoffs, obviously in the championship as well. And the first thing that stood out to me was how tough he was. I mean, his tenacity. Michigan's always hard-nosed football, and they play this down and gritty type football. But his smarts kind of took me off the charts as well, just because, you can look at him and he's making decisions while pressured, third down, I look at those type of things. What are you doing on third down when the money down is there? Because obviously, I'm coming to get you. So, but no, overall, I think he's a good prospect. I mean, when you have a coach like KOC, I mean, I feel like that's like the best coach to go to as a young quarterback in this league. I feel like, and as we all seen, what he's done with other quarterbacks in the past with the short period of time, I think with the right timing, with the right fits and everything, and not to be rushed, whatever the case may be, I think they have a great recipe for him, and I think he's going to do nothing but excel in the system. I mean, I have all the faith in him with a guy like I keep mentioning with KO, coaching him up. So. I think it's going to be really good. I mean, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be. I'm going to obviously embrace him the same way I did with CJ. As most people see, we were spoiled, obviously, with CJ, seeing him, and nobody expected him to come in and just, well, I'm not going to say no one expected him because we seen what he was doing in practice at the times during OTAs when no one else was watching. And certain throws were like, okay, man, this kid might be a little something now. He's whistling the ball, making these crazy throws, and obviously just controlling the team. His maturity was amazing about him. But I haven't met JJ yet. But just from what I've seen and with the cameras and interviews, just with the vibe of the team and with the coaching staff, I could see what type of person they want to bring in to lead this team, and that's what he's going to have to do. That's one of the things that he's going to have to take on his shoulder at the time, being that quarterback and obviously where he was drafted. But I have nothing but faith in him. I have nothing but faith in the coaching staff, and I'm super excited to see what his NFL career looks like.
Last year in Houston, they drafted Will Anderson Jr.
For sure.
This year, they drafted Dallas Turner, who was Will Anderson's teammate. Have you got a scouting report from Will Anderson on Dallas Turner?
Yeah, I mean, they were boys back at Bama. They definitely were obviously two different players. However, they kind of go about the game the same way, both with the aggressive style. When I'm just speaking of in their rushing aspect, obviously Dallas is a little bit more lankier, more twitchier in that aspect. Will is more straightforward defensive lineman. Hand in the dirt and going. But Will's like my little brother, and then obviously when he got drafted, I was showing love to Dallas, and he was like, "All right, don't give him too much love now," But it's a good relationship. I'm excited to work with. We'll have worked with both, and now continue to work with Dallas when he gets here. But I'm excited. I mean, we kind of have similar builds, so I love to be able to just put my knowledge and give my 2 cents whenever it's needed. I'm excited. I mean, the kid runs a 4.4, so I mean, it's a lot of things you can't teach, and that's one of them. And the fact that I'll be able to just teach, hand usage, things about the game, how to manage through the league, how to take care of your body, and doing that aspect, not have to worry about the on-field stuff. I mean, that's music to my ears because now we can get to the fun stuff.
So that's the voice of Jonathan Grenard, new Vikings defender. We went early live on KFAN.com/watch. We normally go about 8 o'clock, but if you want to see Jonathan Grenard on the old stream, you can do that at KFAN.com/watch. Outside of the $76 million, that's 76 million reasons to move to any city in this country. What would you say outside of the money was the number one reason that you picked Minnesota?
Really just during the process, whenever we were able to speak with coaches and things of that sort, it just was a want thing. I felt like I was wanting here the most. I felt like, with KO and Flo here, and obviously Kwesi here as well, it just was a mutual feeling of mutual interest in that I didn't get elsewhere. And I felt like, at this point in my career, have dealing with what I've dealt with since being in the league, I just felt like, I want to go to a place where I'm most wanted, the most valued, and where I could be used the best, honestly, as well. So, and seeing that and all these things take place, it was kind of a no-brainer once you kind of get here and then you see the facilities and you see the people, then you see just the city in general of how they get down and everything. And I haven't been to U.S. Bank Stadium, and nor have I played in the stadium yet. So just seeing the fan base and seeing how we've all talked about it, seeing the videos and other teammates that I've talked to as well, we all have that infectious feeling that we all just want to bring the city a championship. Like that's where we want to get to. I mean, what are we doing it for? I got my taste of being in the playoffs last year, the first time while being in my career, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the last time I've ever made to the playoffs here. I mean, I want more at this point. I think we're all hungry for that. And the season didn't go where we were. I say we, not Minnesota. It didn't go where we wanted as far as it was last year. And we know that in the building. I think everybody's taking that chip on their shoulder and added it, as motivation during the workouts, meetings, and just giving us that extra edge to push a little bit harder to understand what we truly need to do to get back to where we want to be. So I'm super excited, and just seeing all of that, and obviously the players around it, and the team that's around it. Like I said, now that we got a quarterback, as we all see what a quarterback can do, we definitely I'm definitely excited to see what we can do with this team for sure.
Jonathan Grenard again is our guest. I'm looking and doing my best to sleuth this out, but it looks like the same day you signed with the Vikings was the same day Kirk Cousins signed with Atlanta. How did, if at all, did that affect your decision in any way?
No. I mean, I honestly wasn't even paying attention to it, to be honest with you. But when I did see, obviously, him going to Atlanta, that's my hometown, so I was excited for him to obviously get to experience the city a little bit. But at the same time, I didn't see it at all. I didn't really pay any mind to it, nor did it have any effect on my decision. I was pretty much looking forward to whatever situation it was, because it's about how much I was wanted here and see what I could do here.
The free agent process in the NFL must be crazy. What kinds of things do people do and say? How do they treat you? What kind of red carpet is rolled out? Not just by the Vikings, but any other teams that you're talking to.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they all have the wants, and they are going to say certain things and the right things. But, when you look at it from a detailed, schematical standpoint, it made the most sense over here, obviously. I had other spots, but things just kind of weren't, it didn't match up, and I just overall wanted to go for the best feel, as I keep hitting on and mentioning that. I just felt welcome instantly. Obviously, when I talked to KO and, like I said, Flo, obviously with Pet being our position coach and stuff like that, just all of them in general, I just had a feeling of just wanting the comfort around here. I didn't have to be anybody else but myself. I can just come in and still be this goofy kid that I love to think I am at times, and just bring that same energy that I did to get me to this point.
I can imagine it's more than just football, though. They're like, here's the lobster, here's your favorite bottle of wine. Like, they're trying to pull you in. Yeah,
100%. I mean, at the same time, but we knew I'm a guy that I can kind of phase all those things out. My level of discernment between everything is kind of high in my eyes, just because, they can say all the good things, this and that, but obviously when I look at the X's and O's, that's all I really worry about, because at the end of the day, if I'm not performing, in a sense to where, I'm comfortable where I can perform, then I've made the wrong decision, and now I have to walk back and make these other stuff. Like, I'm going to go with the best system. I've seen how Flo, his system has worked. We played against Flo when I was in Houston. He was in Miami back in 21, and I seen what type of defense he can do, and obviously I seen last year as well. So I want to be a part of that. I love that aggressive style. I love that style to where you can go just making sure that the offense is adjusting to us and it's not the other way around. So with that aggressive style, I've seen guys in my position obviously excel, and the defense excels. And obviously, if we can handle our part on defense and make the job on the offense that much easier, and just continue to give them the ball back. Like I said, as we mentioned, with a young quarterback, whoever it is at the time, as much as times we can give the quarterback or the offense the ball, that's my MO, and I love to see that aggressive style that Flo does and allows teams to do that.
Back to the process, though, Jonathan. That's what I think is fascinating. You just mentioned you've never been to U.S. Bank Stadium.
Never.
Think how much blind trust you have to have in the free agency process, because the window's so small. You had not seen TCO. That's right. You don't know where you're starting a family. You don't know where you're going to live. You haven't picked out a house. You basically just have to go off of gut, and I assume you have to trust your agent.
100%.
Maybe you make other phone calls. Talk about just essentially, again, starting a new life without knowing almost any of the information outside of the X's and O's.
Well, I think that was why I had most of my stress. I think, going into the 2023 season, just because I was going into my last year contract, I was just coming off of an injury that sidelined me for 9-10 games. And then,
what was the injury?
I had messed up my calf in 2022, in Houston. And then coming off of that, no one expected me to do anything or play or have any type of the season I had. But in my mind, I knew I was capable of doing these things. It's just a matter of getting me on that field and not having these little setbacks and small setbacks. But once I got over that hump, during the season, it was definitely stressful because obviously my fiance at the time, now my wife, she was pregnant. And going into our third, fourth game, she had our baby literally as I was, had it. Thankfully, she held off, but she literally went into labor right before the game. So literally, as I'm thinking about that, it's just a lot of range of emotions going through my head. And then obviously, I didn't see a future necessarily going to happen throughout the season in Houston, kind of see that was kind of going towards that side of me possibly departing. And that added on stress as well, because even though I was performing at a level where I knew that I was going to be able to set myself up to be able to play again, and this wouldn't be my last destination, it's still, I'm human at the end of the day. I've only known one place my whole entire NFL career. And now, obviously during COVID, that was just another time as well. And then obviously getting acclimated from that to being in the NFL just in general. So all I knew was Houston. I didn't know anything else. So my mind just was never on it was on somewhere else, but didn't know exactly where. And I think that's where I was alluding to the fact of all the stress that led into it going into the, now after the season.
Who convinced you that? Who convinced you this was a spot that you were going to be comfortable in?
Me and my wife and my agent, we definitely, we all just sat down and had a talk. I mean, my family had definitely a good part in it too. But we definitely had to just make sure that we go to where we're most wanted. And I think that's where, Minnesota definitely was the top of the list. From the talks that we had with coaches, as I keep mentioning, and the teammates as well. I just felt like they wanted me here, and I felt like I could fit in really good here and definitely make a mark and continue what I've already put together so far. And I'm going to bring that same thing. I'm going to bring that same energy as well. So I just look forward to building upon what I've already started. So I'm super excited, man. It was definitely a stressful process, but a lot of other factors went into it. So that way it made the decision that much better whenever it was time to make that decision.
What's it going to be like to be one of the leaders on the defense?
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting. Thing is, I'm like myself. I mean, I've never been too much of a follower. I mean, I obviously know how to follow, obviously in order to lead just a little bit. But I feel like everything I do is kind of already watched and magnified as well. Obviously, bearing the free agency signing contract, but just in general, I've always moved as if somebody's watching me. I've always wanted the people to be like, okay, well, he's doing the right things, and this is why he's successful. And I think that's where I love to show another aspect, because not just on the football side, but on the personal side, feel like I'm a really good teammate and a good person to be able to get to know, and a good friend. So I think I can bring a different aspect outside of the football stuff. So I feel like it's not going to be anything different. I mean, I've already got adjusted to the guys a little bit so far, seeing how they operate and work, being there with the off-season program. But yeah, man, I'm super excited just because I just know these guys are hungry, and it's a lot of younger guys as well that are still trying to establish their identities as well. And me being the person who's kind of got to this point now, I can help them out with that for sure.
All right, that's Jonathan Grenard, new Vikings defender. We'll talk more with him in a second. We'll do Fan 5, more with Marnie Gellner. She can help us preview Nuggets-Wolves Game 1 tomorrow at 6 o'clock. You can hear right here on the Fan. Then about 15 minutes from now, Initials Game 5:15. Jonathan Grenard makes his Initials game debut, and one of you gets a shot at winning $64,500. More of the Power Trip Morning Show after this on the Fan.
The Fan.